and 8 o'clock. Thanks. Anyone who can turn on their camera. The only person's face I've seen today is evening. So for those of us who are on the call, can we send like last minute reminders to WhatsApp status to groups where we post there, so we just get more people into the room before it's 8 o'clock. We've got 3 minutes to do this. Hi, Tolu. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Well done.
How are you?
Thank you. Good. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Great. Good evening, Saji. Good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining.
Good evening. I'm good. Thank you.
Great to hear your voice. So we've got 2 minutes to the meeting time before we kick off the event, but I would like to ask that we just repost the meeting invites in the groups, WhatsApp statuses, anywhere you pretty much put out content earlier on to remind people that we're live. Hey. African Guru, please confirm it's a good time to go.
Yeah, please go ahead and start.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And I would like responses. This is the only time we'll probably have the opportunity to meet together. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Great, great. Hi, Kachi. Good evening. It's good to have you on the call. My name is 𝗚𝗢𝗔𝗿𝗂𝗺𝗔𝗰𝗱𝗍𝗔𝗔𝗿. I'm sure some of you attempted that after I had said it, but please, you can call me Olem, just so you don't do a tongue twister on that one. And today I am delighted to be serving as a moderator for today's event, Goal Setting 2026, and with the sub-theme Reach 2026. Now, I have been mandated to make sure that everybody here has a delightful time, but most importantly, just to coordinate the activities of today's event. I would like to set some housekeeping rules before we commence, and that would mean that if you're on this call, you're not speaking, please stay muted. Keep your microphones muted. If you would like to speak at a certain time, you might want to indicate with a raise of hands. I'm sure whoever facilitates whatever segment will clarify on how we probably want to question. But I do know that we could use the raise hand emojis to indicate that we want to speak, or the chat box just to do that very nicely and in a very tidy way. It's a virtual meeting, so please turn on your cameras. Yes, that's the only way whoever comes to speak at this lecture feels seen and felt. So if your cameras are turned on and you can turn off and you can turn them on, we would love to see your lovely faces. Thank you, African Guru. Thank you, Mary, for turning on your camera. And the rest of you, this is me smiling and saying, think about your moderator without camera on. you think you're listening to it right. So please help me here. Finally, and very quickly, please let's keep our comments respectful, feedback respectful, and engage as much as we possibly can. We're here to learn, so it would not do the session any justice if we're not asking questions to improve ourselves. With that said, I have the singular honor of introducing to us the man who has called this gathering this evening, the African Group. He is none other than 𝗷𝗢𝗔𝗟, who is a Nigerian-born entrepreneur, distinguished public health professional, a seasoned trainer, and esteemed coach specializing in branding and skills monetization. We are all testimonies of that. With an impressive decade-long career, he has honed the capabilities of over 2,000 individuals across various sectors, ranging from grassroots to mid and senior management levels in both public and private domains. As the visionary CEO and founder of the African Guru Academy, 𝗷𝗢𝗔𝗿 believes passionately in the fusion of professional expertise and passion to create lucrative opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you are not busy doing anything else, let's make welcome with a warm round of applause 𝗷𝗢𝗔𝗿𝗂 as he gives his welcome remarks for the session. I don't see applauses. Please, let's use our emojis. Be very well with us. Thank you. Thank you. Let's have a good one. African Guru, you have the speaking arena. If you're speaking, you're muted.
Apologies. I was just enjoying the accolades. It's refreshing. Thank you very much. Good evening, delectable leaders, and thank you very much for honoring me by being on the call this evening. This is a tradition. Every year for the past 2 years, this will be the third year we've been doing this. Come together at the end of the year, review what we've done, what we did well, where the gaps are, and what we can do better. Goal setting is the way we live in a chaotic world. A lot is happening. A lot of information is out there, right? If you don't know how to process this, it makes it almost impossible to scale. Goal setting is not a definite. The fact that you set a goal doesn't mean that you're going to achieve it 100%, but it takes you closer to achieving those goals because you've given life to it. You've given thought to it. Now, about the academy, African Guru Academy, for the people that might be joining us for the first time. Through the platform Skills2Gold, we are an enigma in motion. Africa is home to a population of vibrant youths. More than 70% of our population are youths, really vibrant. Africa is a home where things are difficult, but we have the drive, we strive, we still push, we yearn for more. We want to achieve more, despite the limiting factors. We push for more. With a population heading close to 1 billion, everybody knows Africa is the next best thing. How are you positioning yourself for that? Skills in its natural form, it's not really readily accessible, even though it is. What if intentionally you can align your passion, your purpose, your true calling in this life with profit? Build the necessary skill set around it and position yourself for opportunities that cannot deny your value. That's the reason we exist. The goal is impact. Let's exist to do more. Let's build a robust community of intentional people. Where if you pass through African Guru Academy, there's no limitation to what you can achieve as a person in the pursuit of your purpose. Aligning it to your passion, profit will not be a limiting factor. And goal setting naturally has helped us to achieve a lot. This started as a thought, just a thought. And today, it's a reality. It's a motion, it's a movement. We've started, we are not where we should be. We've not even scratched the surface of what we can achieve. And this is a testament that it's possible. It's possible to do more. So thank you very much. This evening, I'm on call to listen. I set goals in 2024, the last one we had. And a lot of those goals seemed impossible, as if it's something that I couldn't achieve. I wouldn't be able to achieve. I've achieved quite a number of them. Not 100%, but we're still pushing. So this evening, I'm on call to learn what I can, help me to fine-tune my goals for a better and a more prospective 2026. So once again, I welcome you to the African Goal Academy platform, the Skills to Gold Monthly Webinar series. This will be the last one for the year. So please feel free to sit, relax, get your notepad, get your pen, grab a lot of value, share at the end, and we'll take your feedback to help us plan and do better subsequently. So thank you very much, and I yield control back to the moderator.
Wow, wow, wow. I don't see any applauses coming through. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so very much, the African Guru, for that opening remark. We appreciate that. Thank you. And you see, when you were speaking, I just took two things. He said the goal is impact. Let's do more. And to do that, we must align our purpose to our passion. Now, today we're very, very privileged to have a distinguished speaker come to talk to us about goal setting for 2026. I would say, if you ask me for a visionary leader and a mind mastery coach, I would point you to a distinguished lady, 𝗚𝗢𝗔𝗟. She is a visionary lawyer, a public servant, and a corporate governance professional dedicated to ethical leadership, institutional transformation, and human capital development across Africa and beyond. She currently serves as Division G Director, District 130, Toastmasters International, leading programs that empower individuals to communicate with clarity and lead with purpose. She is also a certified mediator, an executive coach, a mind mastery coach, and an international speaker. 𝗚𝗢𝗔𝗟 is passionate about shaping the next generation of transformative leaders who would lead with empathy, integrity, and global impact. Her thought leadership continues to inspire conversations on leadership ethics and women's empowerment, making her a respected voice in both regional and global arenas. We are very privileged to have her on our speaking arena today. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give her a warm welcome by putting our hands together. 𝗚𝗢𝗔𝗟, you have the lectern. Please, let's have the emojis coming, guys. Please, come on, come on, come on, come on. I want to see so much love coming in here. Please don't speak until you have seen plenty things on your screen. If you're not seeing it, don't speak, don't speak. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And thank you to our moderator, our vibrant, amiable moderator, 𝗀𝗂𝗿𝗄. I hope I got that correctly. Thank you so much. Good evening, distinguished leaders here present. Please confirm that I'm audible.
Very. You're good to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. And I'm delighted to be here this evening to share with us on goal setting for 2024, themed REACH. REACH. And REACH stands for Reflect, Evaluate, Adjust, and Chart a New Path for 2026. Before I proceed, I'd like to acknowledge and appreciate our convener, the African Guru himself, 𝗷𝗢𝗔𝗍𝗻𝗄𝗏. Thank you for having me here this evening. We also have here our panelists. I must acknowledge them. I want to acknowledge a distinguished leader. He was here very early, Mr. 𝗁𝗔𝗂𝗿𝗂. I think he's still here. 𝗁𝗔𝗂𝗿𝗂, good evening. And It's good to have you here.
Good evening.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
also acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Stella George, one of our panelists as well, and Mrs. Titi 𝗀𝗏𝗃𝗚, who is also here. I also see great people in the room. Thank you all for being here. And I'm sure that in the next few minutes that I have, we're going to have a time of sharing and learning. So this evening, I have a few minutes to share with us on the theme, Rich, for 2026. Now, can we type in the chat room? What is one word you will use to describe 2025 for you? How has your 2025 been? One word to describe this year. Roller coaster by 𝗊𝗪𝗔𝗍𝗃. Good. Unpredicted. I can relate. Yes. I mean, we have 24 people here. Challenging. Learning curve. Amazing. Evolving. That's a good one. Stable. This year has meant different things to different people. Do we have more coming in? More. Adventurous. I like that. All right, while the rest are coming in, let me move on quickly. Now, most people will set goals for 2026. And most of them will abandon these goals or slow down on working towards the achievement of these goals by March. Who can relate? For some of them, they don't even call them goals. For some of them, they're the New Year resolutions and declarations. Good. The moderator can relate. Now, most people, like I said, will set goals for 2026. And of course, most of them would slow down on achieving these goals by March. Why? Not because they lack discipline, not because they are lazy, not because they are not interested in pursuing these goals. But in many cases, it's because they have skipped one critical step. And that is, they planned for the future, but they didn't examine the past. So we planned for 2026, but not examining 2025. And so this evening, or this night, it's not about writing more goals, or writing better goals, or writing bigger goals. It's about choosing a better direction. Now I'm coming from 2025. What direction should I be headed come 2026? Now, there was a season in my life that everything looked successful on the outside. My calendar was full. I was busy. My responsibilities were increasing, right? But inside, something felt off. Something wasn't sitting right. And I had stopped at some point to ask myself whether the life that I was living at the time or the things I was chasing at the time still matched the person that I was becoming or the person that I wanted to become. I had to do that because a lot was going on and it looked like everything was okay. Everything was rosy. I was moving fast, but I realized that, yes, I was moving fast, a lot of activities, but those activities were not aligning with my ultimate good. And that season, having sat down to reflect, to ask myself, are all these things in alignment? I learned a lesson. I realized that, yes, I was on the fast track, I was on the speed lane, without reflections, without having to always pause to reflect. And what that did to me was that it made me exhausted. I was always getting exhausted. And so I learned that speed does not equal achievements. It does not equal excellence. And so if I'm on the speed lane and I'm not reflecting, it will lead me to exhaustion. It will lead me to frustration. So today we're talking about reach for 2026. Reflect, evaluate, adjust, and then you can chart a new path. So when we talk about reflection, what does it really mean? Who can tell me in the chat box? When you hear reflection, what comes to mind? Of course, we know what reflection means. Reflection. Looking back. I like that. It means that you have to pause to look back. What happened? To look back and relate. Self-reflection, to examine oneself. Stock taking, I like that part. So to reflect is for you to take stock, to review, to revisit. How have I fared? Examine yourself. Deep retrospect of past events. Beautiful responses. And that is what it is. Exactly what it is. But you know what? I had a chat with someone just this evening before this session. And the person was sharing some things with me. And he said he doesn't want to reflect because when he does that, he just sees the negatives. He just sees the bad side. Oh, I failed here. I didn't do this. I was supposed to do that. And that fear makes him not want to reflect. And so I'm saying to him, reflection is not self-criticism. That's not what it's about. It shouldn't be about you criticizing yourself and blaming yourself. No. When we reflect, it's self-awareness. We're examining ourselves. Oh, how did I fare? And so for me, it is wisdom for anyone to be able to pause, look back, examine, review, take stock. That is wisdom. It shows that you're a wise man, you're a wise woman, you're a wise person, you're a wise leader. So reflection is not about criticizing. It's about reflection. It's about taking stock and saying, how do I move forward from here? So reflection is for us to ask. When we reflect, we should be open, we should be honest, and ask ourselves, so what really happened in 2025? What worked out for me this year? What didn't work out for me? Someone here said, exhausted, challenging. What was it that drained you in the course of the year? So in a reflective, moment or atmosphere is a time to ask ourselves deep questions. And the essence is for us to know what next to do. What were the patterns that we saw or we observed that kept repeating themselves? What were the things we tolerated longer than necessary or longer than we should have? So this evening, I have just come here to remind us of what we already know by putting to us lots of questions. So this evening, you're going to be hearing lots of questions. Please take notes. I am one who believes in retreats. At the end of every year, I take time out to retreat. It could be a day, 2 days, whatever works for you. So these questions may help you in your retreats, in your reflections, in your stock taking. So you are able to truly, truly reach for 2026. Now, if 2025 were to be a teacher, what lessons has it repeatedly taught us, taught you? For some of us, they were loud. So loud that we couldn't ignore it anymore. Did you do something about it? If you didn't, then this is a good time to pause and take stock. So in our reflective time, let us take stock Let us gather data from our own lives, from our own experience. And I will say to us that please do this mindfully without judgment. Just like my friend this evening that had, he was being mindful, taking stock, thinking, but he was judging himself. Please, that's not what this should be about. It's not what it should be about. Now we reflect and then we move to evaluation. Because when we reflect, it's not just to end it there. Evaluate the situation. Because after you have reflected, then you want to evaluate. And like I said, you need to be honest, you need to be open, you need to be bold. So in evaluation, we need to have that courage to be able to evaluate ourselves, evaluate the situation. As a mediator, from my mediation experience, I've come to see that nothing moves forward in that mediation room until truth enters that room. When the parties are ready to be truthful about the situation, about the conflict, then we can make progress. And the same thing applies to our lives generally. So ask yourself, what goals did you achieve this year? And which ones did you abandon along the way? Because it was challenging, because it was a roller coaster, because you were evolving, and so many things were going on. You want to pause and evaluate. And then know what next to do. So we just simply need to pursue our goals, not out of pressure, not out of, fear of failure, but truly because it is what we want to do and it is what we need to do to be able to succeed and to be able to move forward. Now, for us to be able to set goals for 2026 and make progress, there are 4 areas we must look at. Your work or business or career, depending on which area you fall, and then your personal growth. And then in your relationships, every one of us here has different categories of relationships. You also want to look at that, reflect, evaluate your relationships, and then your health and your well-being. I mean, if we're not healthy, we won't be able to chase all these goals and all these dreams, right? So let us take stock in these key areas of our lives that make up our entire being and make up where we are going to. Now we have the adjusts. After you have reflected, you have evaluated, you need to have the courage to make the necessary change or the necessary adjustments. Many times we reflect, we evaluate, but we are not able to make that move or take that bold step to make the necessary adjustments. The point of adjustment is the point of action. And without action, no matter what we do, no matter what we plan or we evaluate, we may not be able to make some progress. Now, many of us are consistent. We set a goal and we stick to it. We don't want to move. When the time comes and what we're working on is no longer serving us, then we need to adjust. We need to move. That doesn't change the fact that you're a consistent being. Adjustment does not mean that you are failing, because if you need to change direction to get to your destination, then you should. And so for me, I'll say when you're able to be courageous to make the necessary changes, the necessary adjustments, it shows that you are a wise person. It shows that you are mature. So sometimes, from my experience, and of course I know we know this, the goal may be right. Yes, you've set your goals, and this goal may be right, but we may have adopted a strategy that doesn't fit that particular goal at that particular time. So when you find this out, change course. Sometimes it may be the strategy that is right, but the timing to apply that strategy to that goal may be a wrong timing. So these are things that we need to keep our eyes on and know when to make the necessary adjustments. And as we make these adjustments, it is then time to chart a new path. And our convener this evening has brought us here to be able to reach for 2026 better and bigger than we did for 2025. So as we prepare for 2026, I want us to have this in mind. I mean, the theme ended with chart a new path. So I want us to have this in mind. Path, that path, so I have coined it and summarized it in the word path, P-A-T-H. And path simply stands for purpose, alignment, time, and habits. So as we reach for 2026, for your purpose, it means that the goal you're about to set, what does it really mean to you? Does this goal really matter to you? How important is it to you? And then alignment. Does it fit the season you are in right now or the season you are entering into? And then the T. Is your timeline realistic? Or is it a goal you are setting out of pressure? Pressure from society, pressure from environment, pressure from peers? Or is this something that really fits in at this time? And finally, habits. What must we be consistent in doing to help us achieve the goal or the goals? So this year or this coming year, please don't just set goals. Set clearer goals. Be focused. Set stronger systems that will help you achieve these goals that you have set for yourselves. And so as I close, I want us to just have a reflective exercise in a minute. You may want to close your eyes because you need to visualize the questions I'm going to put to us. You may want to take down the questions. But as I close, I want us to pause for just a minute and reflect. Think back to 2025. What was one win, or what is one win? What is one lesson that you have picked or you're picking from 2025? And what was one challenge that you faced in the course of achieving your goals, pursuing your dreams? And then what habits or goals served you best? What was it that didn't work in your favor? And then begin to make that mental shift, that mind shift, that adjustment. As you think about 2026, picture it. What is one thing you need to start doing differently? Make sure you have that mental picture. And what is one thing you need to stop doing altogether, like completely drop it, because it's not serving you any good? Now picture yourself at the end of 2026. What would a successful, intentional person, Mary, Tolu, Olem, what would you look like? What would it look like to you? Certainly, there are choices that helped you to get to that successful person at the end of 2026. So before you write down any goal for 2026, well, some of us may already have, but before you proceed, promise yourself that you will not carry over any unexamined habits into the new year. And the reason is simple. We're charting a new path. And a new path should not be found by rushing, just rushing forward like I used to do. But you need to be still and choose wisely. The reason is because 2026 doesn't need a rushed version of you simply because you want to be all busy. It needs a version of you that is ready, a version of you that is deeply rooted in purpose, and a version of you that is intentional. Because in your intentionality comes clarity. And with clarity, you have the wings to fly into 2026. Thank you very much. And over to you, the moderator.
Oh, wow. Please, let's put our hands together. Let's get some reactions in there. Thank you so very much, Mary, for sharing with us such, I would say, intense, because now you put all of us in the melancholy, but we're now reflecting right in the meeting, and that's a good thing. We're practicing. Thank you so very much for sharing your insights on this. And I would just like to recap before we move to the panel session, what you've highlighted here. You were very intentional when you said speed with reflection, without reflection equals exhaustion. And I thought that that was very deep because you were just saying, don't just move because you have to move with purpose. I love that you made time to say that we should reflect and then evaluate on our reflection because that's where we start seeing things. And finally, you left us with an acronym, which is tied to the theme of today's meeting. It says PATH. When we think path, we should remember purpose, alignment, time, and habits. We should move into 2026 with more intentionality because with intentionality comes clarity of purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think people have reacted well to this. I would like to have feedback in the chat area if you thought that the session was impactful while we're preparing to go into the panel discussion. But just please, once again, let's give her the warm round of applause for just sharing with so much passion and depth from her experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Mary. That was really great. Thank you so very much. Now, they say that great conversations deserve great guides. So as we segue into our panel discussion today, I would like to introduce to you our excellent guide for that session with our panel moderator. She is a distinguished person. Her name is 𝗚𝗢𝗿𝗂𝗏, and she is the founder of Truth Speakers Limited, a training and consulting organization and the convener of the African Young Speakers Forum Summit. With a background in healthcare, this best-selling author of Raging Waters now helps individuals, couples, and organizations communicate in a healthy way. Great leaders, excellent leaders. Let's put our hands together for our fantastic and excellent guide who will take us into the panel moderation session. So 𝗚𝗢𝗿𝗂𝗏, you have the speaking arena.
Wow. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm honored and delighted to be your moderator for the next segment of this amazing meeting. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to the convener, Mr. 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗏, as well as to our keynote speaker who gave us an amazing speech and has given us much to think about, even as we prepare for the new year. Now, I'm so honored and excited to have this conversation with three amazing panelists. I'll be introducing them one by one and just ask them to unmute briefly and say hello, as well as to let's see them, put on your video, test your microphone. So I'm going to start with Madam Stella George. She is a dynamic leader, a banker, strategist, and the author of Leading for Impact. She's known for her compelling voice on authentic leadership and personal growth. She empowers individuals and organizations to navigate change with clarity and purpose. And right now, she serves as the Club Growth Director for Toastmasters International District 130, where she drives initiatives that strengthen over 175 clubs and expand leadership impact across West and Central Africa. She's a sought-after speaker at conferences and leadership forums. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. 𝗚𝗢𝗿𝗂. Yes, yes, yes. Please just say hello, unmute and touch your mic.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. Next, we have Mrs. 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗿𝗂, a seasoned professional with over 22 years of experience across organizational leadership, agricultural value chain, international trade, policy advocacy, project management, business consulting, and youth empowerment. She is a certified project management personality. She has an MBBSc and an accredited management consultant and a trainer by the NCMD. In the international development space, she has led major initiatives in agriculture, export, quality, infrastructure, and trade. There's so much more we can say about her, but I want you to just say a brief hello because we want to move very quickly.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, welcome.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. All right.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome. And lastly, we have, definitely not the least, we have Dr. 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗿𝗂, an experienced social development and climate advocacy expert. He's a lead consultant with a demonstrated professional history spanning over 20 years in the United Nations. He is the former chairperson of the United Nations Pension Fund. Skilled, I don't know if that, why am I not seeing applause as I'm reading these things? Skilled in non-profit organizations, energy, please let's have exactly, thank you. Energy transition and social policy. He's a specialist with strong communication skills, program monitoring and evaluation, and humanitarian response performance tracking, education systems assessment, and so much more. He has a master's degree focused on social policy and a PhD in development and sustainability studies. Please let's give him a warm applause as he also has his mic. Dr. 𝗚𝗢𝗿𝗂, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much and welcome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm honored to have this discussion with these amazing panelists, and we're going to dig right in. For our listeners, I want you to put in the chat box a few ideas. What are you thinking? What are we going to be talking about? As we talk, I want you to put your questions in the chat. As ideas come to you, put them in the chat so that will also aid our conversation. Now, thank you once again, everyone, for being here. And I want you to know that as we prepare for 2023, we are looking at a very important topic. We're talking about goals. We've listened to the keynote speaker who has given us a lot of insight. And one of the things that I thought was very profound, like you said, put it in the chat, is that with intentionality comes clarity. And with clarity, we have the wings to fly successfully in 2023. So I want to look at goals. I want to look at them from the perspective of the following: why, who, what, when, where, and how. Right? So we're going to start straight up on the matter of why. Why should we set goals? So I'm going to start with, I think I will start with Madam 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗏𝗆. Please, would you answer this question for us? Why should we set goals? From your experience with setting goals, particularly in the corporate space, what is the point of setting a goal? And we're talking of especially setting goals that are meaningful, not just measurable, but that are meaningful. Why is it important to do that? Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Wow, so I'm going to use my own personal example, and I feel maybe most of us might feel this way. It's possible. Goals give us a direction, a sense of direction. It helps us, it keeps us in focus, because for humans, there's so many things that can distract you. And you could be everywhere and nowhere at the end of the day. So goals, when you set them, gives you a sense of fulfillment, a fulfillment of purpose at the end of the day. It helps you to, that fulfillment is in the part that, oh, I set my mind to do something and I was able to fulfill it. And usually, we say, I think it's 𝗀𝗢𝗏, is it habits of highly effective people that says begin with the end in mind. Beginning with the end in mind is goal setting, truly. To say, this is where I want to be by this time. It could be financially, it could be a relationship, it could be even the kind of job that you want. And goals helps us to put those things in our view throughout our journey. It helps us to articulate them properly, because goals help you to sit down and, when in your goal setting, you sit down and think through things, right? So if we don't even set goals, we're just everywhere. The way we perceive things will just be all over the place if we don't set goals truly. But when you set goals, you can define where you want to be. You can define what you want out of life. You can define where, like I said, financially, morally, in any way whatsoever, because goals apply to every part of our lives. The goals keep us in check. It helps us to grow, because goals also needs to align with our purpose. And goals really helps us to grow and keeps us in focus, sets the direction and sets the tone for our journey through life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it gives us direction. It helps us to have clarity on where we're going. I think that's very important. Let me ask, Dr. Saji, would you please still on this matter of why, sit in on what happens if we don't connect with the purpose or the reason behind the goal? What happens if we don't connect with the purpose behind the goal or behind the target? What do you think happens there?
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I think Mrs. 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗏 hit the nail on the head by talking about that famous book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, that says that for us to be able to set meaningful goals, we have to first align purpose with vision, and that our real intention should be to focus on the compass and not on the time. Because sometimes a lot of us worry so much about the year 2026, which is just a 12-month cycle that will come and go several times over. So it's not the physical period of January to December that really matters in goal setting. What matters more is the compass. The compass is what shows you which direction you are going. The compass is what helps you to keep the alignment according to our keynote speaker. I love the PAT ideology, where we're talking about purpose, alignment, timeliness, and of course, habits. And I think she did a fantastic job of connecting that with what all of us need to focus on for 2026. A path to 2026 should be a pathway to success if we follow those key principles. So anyone who wants to succeed in 2026 needs to begin to think about alignment with purpose and that means that we are assuming that that person has already discovered purpose. Majority of us are still struggling with purpose. More than 20 years ago, I was working in the United Nations system. And when I realized that my purpose was much, much bigger than just being a United Nations staff, I started to build a new pathway for myself from within the system. I took early retirement, and I was surprised a few days ago when I realized that I have been in early retirement for 10 years, just aligning with purpose and focusing on what makes me happy as a human being. So it's not necessarily, I mean, so many people will give a head and a nail to be working for the United Nations. I did that for a couple of, decades, and I realized that it's far, far, far lower than what I anticipate, and what my purpose in life is, what my compass direction was showing, and that took me out, and today I can't be happier. So I believe that this is what we should have at the back of our mind. Once we understand purpose, alignment becomes easier. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Cook. And you know what, in addition, you have actually answered the question I asked and the question I was going to ask, which is also the issue of why, of who is responsible for the decisions around your goal. And you've basically shown with your story that you took responsibility and said, look, I know what my purpose is. This does not really align with my purpose. Here's what I'm going to do about it. So you've really just helped us move forward very beautifully. And so I won't even bother with you. I think it's clear to most of us. If you have any questions around that, please drop in the chat while we move on to the next one, which is what. So I'm going to ask our next panelist to please address the matter of what, in terms of clarity. When you're saying you're setting a goal, what is it that you are moving towards? What is a worthy goal to move towards? Not everything that is a good goal, for example. So what qualifies as a good goal, whether it's personal, whether it's in your organization? What would you say are the things that are good indices for selecting a good worthy goal? So let's have our next panelist, Mrs. 𝗀𝗃𝗍. Go ahead and question.
Okay, so I don't know whether it's from my end. I'm struggling to to understand what you're saying, honestly. So if another person can just tell me, let me know if it's from your end or from my end, honestly. I didn't get that question.
Okay. Did anybody else hear me? Is my sound bad? You can't hear me.
I think your sound is
yes.
maybe sharper.
I had to put this on my ear to I'm still not making sense of it. Yes.
My sound is poor.
Kinda, but it can be better.
It sounds a bit muffled.
Yes. Are you using an earpiece?
No, I'm not. Let me change network.
But please, if anybody heard her, I'm happy to take the question.
Mrs. 𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗏, what she wanted to know.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, yes.
Okay, what she wanted to know was how to connect a why to a vision of 2026. How do we as individual find that why that aligns us with purpose, and then ability to make that vision happen going forward?
I'm back now. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. It's better now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, what I was asking is, we're now on what? We've dealt with why, we've dealt with who, and now we're on what. What do you consider a worthy goal? What qualifies as a worthy goal, whether for an individual or an organization? What are things that will help you identify something as a worthy goal?
A worthy goal. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that question. And thank you to all the panelists that have spoken earlier. So for me, what identifies a worthy goal is when a goal is SMART. I'm sure most of us in this call knows or have heard about the SMART goal. The goal must be specific. Specific means when you ask somebody, what is your plan for the next 5 years? And the person says, I want to be very big. Big doing what, right? That is a very ambiguous statement. So the goal must be very smart. For example, you work in a bank. I'll use myself an example. So you say, okay, what's your goal for the next 5 years? You say, I would like to get promoted at least twice in the next 5 years. That's very specific. So you can apply it to other things. For instance, your business, you said, oh, this year we made $1 million. Would like to triple our profits for the next 2 years. That is specific. The goal must be measurable. Must be measurable. How do you track? How do you track your goal to be able to measure, to say, okay, this is what we intended to do. This is how far we have gone. Are there gaps? How do we close it? So the goal must be measurable. How do you measure that goal? If you said, oh, I wanted to get 2 promotions, now you just got only 1. What happened? Why didn't I get the second one? I wanted to triple my profit. I wasn't able to triple it. I doubled it. What happened? What is the gap? How can I close it? The next one, it has to be attainable. Very important. Some people, yes, we are in the era of big, hairy, audacious goal. That's the BHAG, right? But sometimes we set goals that are not attainable. We know that this thing is not attainable, maybe for the timeline that you have set. So the goal must be attainable, right? Or achievable. And the next one is realistic. Is that goal realistic, right? It has to be realistic. If you tell me that my plan, for instance, let's use a young man that is just coming up. He has not even started the business, and he's telling you that my goal in the next 1 month is to buy over Dangote, in quotes, right? And you, excuse me, you have not even started. Is this achievable? Are you not stretching yourself too much? You are going to land yourself into depression if you do not achieve it at that set time. So that goal must be attainable. And the last one is, it has to be time bound. Time bound. What is the specific time? When is this goal supposed to elapse? Let's use Toastmasters, for instance. Every Toastmasters year, calendar year, there are goals that are set. If you miss it at that particular time, it doesn't mean that it's not a goal anymore, but it means that it is not the SMART goal anymore. You have missed it for that period. So it's important that our goals are SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and they are time bound. That is what will help us to push. Yes, thank you very much. I hope I did not take too much time.
Thank you. It was beautiful, beautiful. No, it needed to be. I like the way you covered it, and it's not so very important to highlight each of these points. So we appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you for the review. Yes, let's take some notes. I see something excellent. And then, still on this matter of work. So I think I would say, if Madam Titi can address this, because I noticed that in reading your bio, there are several areas that you have worked in, or that you have expressed different levels of interest, right? So you have different areas of interest, you have different priorities, maybe at the same time. How does one decide of the many things that could be my goal? It said that you chase 2 rabbits, you end up catching none. So how does one decide which one is the right goal to pick at any point in time, so that we're not chasing 15 things? We have a list of 15 things I want to achieve in the first quarter of 2023. how does one choose which one to pick, or which one or two? How many?
Right. Let me say that it's easy for you to want to do so many things, truly. But one thing is, you shouldn't bite more than you can chew, or else you burn out. It is what it is. So for me, I do quite a number of things, but lately I'm trying to even just narrow them down. And I have one or two big things that's even kept me busy for the last 3 months. And I can imagine if I've added so many other things to it, I would have just fainted. Because this year, I actually made up my mind that, you know what, you have to start looking at those things that you really, really care about, the things that seriously align with what I want to be known for eventually. You know, where do I want to play my career in another 5 years? Where do I really want to be on the scale of things? There must be a time in one's life that you sit down and think about it. And at that point, even if you're doing 10 things, you have to find some alignment somewhere. And if you end up at one big thing that brings everything into a convergence somehow, so that at least you know that on this path, every other thing feeds into those other things, and you're not stressing yourself up. That would be better. So for me, I have quite a number of things. This year, I put just 3 of the things I do, many things I do. 3 this year. I noticed that cut down a few others, painfully so, painfully so, but it was necessary. I felt if I'd put that as well in the kitty, I would have overstretched myself too much. So 3 things I put this year, I've achieved almost everything. And I realized that bringing it down into those small packages sometimes, it's just about focus, really. You know, focus. You can't do too many things and say you focus on one thing. No, you have to pick what is important. And realize that when you grow in that area of focus, it kind of just rubs off on those same other things you felt you've left behind. Somehow, it could rub off on them. But 3 things, 1 thing, 2 things, even one singular thing that you focus on, that you focus as a goal, could be everything you need to be. That will feed every other thing. So you have to get to that point to sit down and just align. Because it's easy for humans to want to do too many things, truly. But you have to find that alignment, or else you will spread yourself thin. And at the end of the day, you won't achieve one thing. So for me, I'm seeing myself achieving some big things this year, truly. And it's because I decided to focus, really. So I dropped off a few things. And I said it was painful, because those other things I dropped off, the things I also enjoyed. But I was like, no, Titi, you can't carry this year. So that's my only lesson this year, really, about setting goal and focusing.
Yeah. So it's very important focus, and I really appreciate that example you've given of your insight and the fact that it's painful to drop something. So it's not a matter of, okay, these 2 are very important and they're good and I'm interested, and these other ones are boring, that's why I'm dropping them. It's that sometimes they're all important, they're all calling your name, they're all important, you know, there's an equal pool, but you have to make a decision and you have to focus. And decide to prioritize things. I think that's very important. For Q3, still on this matter of selecting what is important, because I remember that, like reading from Brian Tracy, and you know, there are these ideas that even if you have multiple goals, it's important to look at how these goal setting techniques they enumerate and then decide which one of all the goals is the one that you pursue will have the greatest effect on progress on your end goal and all of that. How do you really, in your own experience, how do you decide which one? Because it's when someone tells you have to decide which one is the one that I should see of all the goals.
Thank you very much. I think as we age and mature, we tend to understand deeper what really matters. I can see 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗿𝗂 nodding his head. Is probably of the same school of thought. It's amazing how maturity begins to change your level of priority. At some point, it's probably your children going to the good schools that becomes your priority. You want to make sure that you get the very best for them, because you know that that's probably the only legacy you can leave for them. At some point, it's your career that you want to prioritize. You heard the tempted Jojo saying that she would give anything to achieve those big goals. And I think one of the biggest that I'm so proud of her for was, getting to write a book. She has inspired me so much that becomes my number one goal for 2026 myself, to finally get some of my books off the table. Some of them I've been writing for more than 5 years, and I haven't been able to push them through. So I got so much inspired from seeing her do that, in a couple of months, because she carried us. So prioritization is key. We need to get to the point where we begin to sieve the wheat from the shaft. And just like Mrs. Stellar said, when you set specific, measurable, attainable goals, you would get to the point where you can specifically say, this is top priority for me. And then, like Tito just said, she had to drop some things she loved doing in order to achieve the big and audacious ones that she knows will make a whole lot of difference. This year, for instance, I wanted to increase the number of the branches of a few of my businesses. My goal was to double the numbers, and in January I had only 2 branches, and I thought that by almost October, November, it was still 3, and I thought I wasn't going to achieve it. But to the glory of God, in the first week of December, the 4th one opened. So it was like, okay, it's doable. The key thing is, how do you begin to push yourself beyond limits? Once you've set the goals, the elements. I mean, for those of us who carry faith, in her DNA, we begin to see faith activated once those goals are written down, once milestones are attached to them, once areas where we could find the right people to connect with us and take us there, once we can drop a few things that are distracting us, once we can it works almost in every space of life. Even if your biggest goal is to triple your income, like the Mrs. George said, you have to be specific. If you were on 100 million income and you want to make it 500 million, you need to break it down to what that would mean per quarter. And then you start tracking yourself quarter 1, quarter 2. If it is still around 100, 150, it means that you have gotten something wrong. So it's either you go back and you review and you readjust, but you need to make some real incremental changes. When the 3rd one came around March of 2025, for instance, I knew I was on the right path, and I didn't let that stop me. I kept looking at what am I going to do differently that could make it double, like it was my goal. And in the last quarter, it happened. So it's very important that we understand that nothing happens because we wish it happens. Everything happens because we are purposeful, we are intentional. And Mary Agbonika said it very clearly, intentionality, will make us fly. So it's very important. It's very keen that there are things we need to drop in order to get to the highest of mountains. And the earlier we have that ability to prioritize, ability to focus on what matters and what is going to shift the needle, ability to identify the company we need to keep in order to get to that, and the company we need to drop in order to climb, are also very important. Sometimes some heavy weights are drawing us down, and they will never allow us to climb to the next level if we don't drop those weights. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's very, very important. Thank you so much. So I think I have 2 more questions, and I will just assign them quickly. So first of all, Madam Stella, thank you so much. I love the examples that Dr. gave to. These are very practical. So you see that goal setting is not just about setting the goal out there and then waiting for it to happen. It's that you work it out. So of course, you break it down into the plan means that every month as we do 25, those kinds of plans, so that you're clear as you're going, whether you're achieving, you're working towards the goal. And of course, I think it's 𝗚𝗢𝗔𝗟 that says success is the progressive realization of the ideal. So as you're aiming towards what you're trying to do, you see that you're getting there. The question for Madam Stella quickly is on the matter of motivation. Now you set a goal, but you're not feeling like it anymore. What do you do? And then lastly, sorry, Madam Moderator, what I was given was 40 minutes. Am I wrong? What I saw was 40.
So we're supposed to wrap up at 9 to do Q&A from 9 to 10. We're already taking just the prompt to. Oh, sorry, you've got 3 minutes left.
All right, thank you. So the question of what to do when motivation drops. I know for you, you lead large numbers of people in the banking sector and this matter. What do you do when you don't feel like this? And you don't have these goals ahead of you? And 1 minute.
Thank you very much. So one of the things I tell myself, which I will also encourage you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, fantastic. Yes, so I think one of the things I tell myself, which I will also want to encourage us, is that when it comes to goals, achievement, and all that, it is progress over perfection. So if we are not able to achieve 100% of what you set out to achieve, please do not beat yourself up. Look at the ones that you have achieved and celebrate yourself. Celebrate the success, progress, celebrate your progress. Okay, so that is one thing I do. See, let me tell you, as humans, there are a lot of things that we want to achieve. Financially, family-wise, career-wise, business-wise, everything is staring at us in the face and we want to do all, right? But the truth of the matter is that sometimes, because of circumstances, economy, issues of life happens, okay? You might not be able to achieve all that you have set out to achieve. Please take time out to celebrate yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back and say, Stella, well done for how far you have come. You are not able to achieve this, but we go again next year. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. So motivate yourself, drive yourself, even when you're not tell yourself what you need to tell yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, audience. Thank you, our panelists, our amazing panelists. It's been a very great discussion. I know that if we were given 1 more hour, we could still go on and on because this is a very important topic. But it's time for us to wrap it up. If there's anyone that has a question, I was looking at the questions in the chat, and I only saw a comment that says, I want to be hammer. Don't we all? Right? But thank you so much. Okay, that was before. Thank you so much. Yes, we want to hammer in 2026. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Tolu. Good job.
Thank you so much. Any
Good
questions?
job.
Thank you so much. All right, so in the absence of any question, if something dropped, I think I can handle it now.
Sorry.
I think we should hear from 𝗔𝗳𝗿𝗂𝗏𝗃. He's been hanging in there, raising his hand.
All right, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to hammer. That's serious. Well done. Thank you, our panelists and the keynote speaker. Indeed, we keep learning.
Every day.
But one thing by way of contribution, I heard the word company you keep. The company you keep. The community. Another thing again that I have personally experienced, and I wish that younger ones could learn from, is mentoring.
Mm.
We neglect mentoring a lot in life.
Mm.
It's the shortcut to success.
Very, very correct, sir.
Whoever you attach yourself to with, you will accomplish, if not more, close to. But we neglect it a lot. You just set a goal, and your goal is nice. But who is leading you? I think this should be integrated into anything that we are teaching the upcoming generation. They need to have mentor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is such an important point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for adding that
Thank you
to it.
so much. Thank you, sir. Very important. Get a mentor. Whatever it is you're setting out, someone else has done it before, someone else is doing it.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
That's a fantastic point to stop. Please, let's give a round of applause to all of our panelists. Feel free to add an applause for me too. I didn't do that well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
To our moderator for this evening. Thank you. Madam Moderator, back to you.
Please, let's keep the applauses coming in, the love, the emojis, anything, chat box. Let's have the reactions coming. Thank you so very much, Tolu, for in that segment, and to our panelists, Soji, Stella, Titi, the three of you. I always think it's four of you every time I look at the flyer. But yeah, thank you so much for coming through with such deep insights. And I think every single time I listen to all of you speak, Pareto's principle just kept popping in my head. How do you prioritize? Just, try to figure out the key things that will give you the best outcome rather than drowning yourself with all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, dear leaders, this evening we've had focus from Titi. We've had prioritization is key from Soji. We've had keep your goals smart from Stella. And finally, I think something else that struck was connect with the right people. The company you keep and the company you drop will determine how far you're playing now to 2026. And yes, 𝗶𝗊𝗶𝗰 has now told us clearly that on top of that, let's put the cherry on that icing by just seeking out mentors who have gone the way to show us the way. Because standing on the shoulders of giants is probably one of the quickest ways to see very far. And I'm sure most of us are very familiar with that. I don't see any questions. Is it that they were so explanatory, or we were just enjoying ourselves and forgot to write something down? Whatever the case is, this would be a great time to take more questions if we have them. If we don't, feedback would be appreciated. And I would like to even ask, what are your take homes? We've had a very splendiferous keynote speech today from Mary. What are your take homes? We've had panelists come here to tell us what's happening in real life. It's not audio something, like what they believe, the experiences, the shortfalls, the struggles that come with goal setting and achieving your goals. What's your take home? I would like comments in the chat area. And we're 23, so at least we should see 23 responses. And if you're very generous, you can give us much more. Let's have the comments come in. And yes, to our panelists as well, we could actually share your take home too, because you got to meet two interesting people if you spoke. So yeah. So let's have the comments coming. Nobody? Oh, African Guru's hand as well. You have let them, please.
All right. Thank you very much to our amazing speakers and moderators, our keynotes. Thank you very much for that charge, Pat. My question this evening is simple. For 2026, this is me looking for validation currently. 𝗶𝗊𝗶𝗰 said something that's really catchy, right? He said, the shortcut to success is mentorship. And I've been really intentional about my networking. In 2025, I want to be in spaces where the big boys are. Who knows, when they're discussing money, they might just say, I take this one. So for me, my metrics have been people in terms of number. How many people have I impacted on? Profits, how much have I made? Network, how much network have I added to my bank of networks that might not necessarily be paying me currently, but I'm building towards something. So this has been my metrics to measure my growth in 2025. Moving into 2026, how can I better align this? Is it okay? Is it not okay? Could I be doing more? Could I be looking at more? Because I'm always up for more. So this is my question. And yes, I would like to get a response from the 3 panelists this evening. Starting with Dr. Soji.
I knew you would start with me. If you saw what I wrote, I said you too like my me. But the truth is you're always, you know, making very strong efforts to do what 𝗶𝗶𝗆 just advised. Now that I know you connect with a lot of mentors and you're on the right path. I would encourage you to continue to do what you do, and irrespective of what the numbers are looking like, SkillstoGold is something, you know, that is beginning to really catch fire among the young people, and you're really teaching them what to do with the skills that they have, how to monetize their skills and how to grow in numbers. What I think you should also, you know, push for is the ability for these young people to be able to work with themselves. Most people that you see that are breaking the ground, they are breaking it as co-founders. Why do we have them as co-founders? Because they found the right alignment. Some of them are very skilled in terms of technical, but they don't know how to sell. So they need a partner who is a born marketer. They need another partner who has access to be able to connect to people who are going to fund. They need another partner who is just the administrator that gets things going. So they need to begin to think along, you know, a group of 3, 4, 5 of them coming together to give birth to new innovations and build, you know, systems that are going to scale. A lot of them need to understand that there's a difference between self-employment and entrepreneurship. Most of them are locking themselves down in self-employment without thinking about the capacity to become entrepreneurs. So these are skills that you must teach them in 2026 for SkillstoGold to yield the results that you would like to have. But congratulations in advance. I see you becoming the real African guru. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, sorry, moderator, I'm stealing your shine, but let me get feedback from Stella George.
Hello.
When you called me the other time, I was with somebody.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Well,
yes.
Money comes.
Okay, said.
Money will come.
All right, so I would like to get your feedback. Like I said, my metrics for measuring progress in the academy and what I've been doing is number of people I've impacted.
Okay.
In terms of money, how much I've made, and how many people I've connected with in terms of mentors, sponsors, coaches, and the likes. So these have been my metrics for 2025. So moving into 2026, I'm looking at your evaluation and how to better realign this.
Oh, okay. Okay, first I'll start by saying kudos to you. Well done. I always echo this. I always hello. Sorry. I'm so sorry, my brother. Okay, yes. Okay, so I always echo this quote that says that it's always impossible until it's done. Is it Nelson Mandela that said it? Please put me right. I can't remember. Yes. So when you started, I remember when all this started, it looked as if it was impossible. But your tenacity, your commitment, your passion has kept it. And most importantly, your spirit of collaboration. You're always there for others. You support other people. And that is why it's very easy. Of course, I'm just coming back from somewhere. You can see my gele. But because it's you, I have to be here. Because you know what? You are always there for other people as well. And so what I want to tell you, my encouragement is that please continue on this trajectory. Collaboration is the new competition, and mentorship is the gateway to success, just like 𝗶𝗁𝗏𝗂 said. So in moving forward to 2026, what I would suggest is that look back. I want you to look back at what you have achieved and the goals that you have set, and look at the gap. Do a self-reflection. You will know why certain things were not achieved, and you begin to ask questions. What then do I do to right if there are wrongs that I, during the last year? What can I do better? What relationships do I need to form? What are the things I need to drop? These are the things that you need to do going forward. And please don't take on too many things. You need to stay focused, align your goals with your purpose. And even if they're just 1, 2, 3 goals that you can stay focused and achieve, that will be my feedback or evaluation. But all in all, you have done so well. I'm inspired by you as well. You might not know that, but when I see you push, I'm inspired to, because I have other goals. We all have different goals at different levels. I have other goals. I have other goals. And in that particular goal that I have, you inspire me that I will soon take action towards that goal. Thank you very much. Well done. Great job.
Thank you, my leader. I see Titi Ojo. I don't know if she's still on call. Madam Titi. They said ask question. You refuse to ask question. Now I'm taking the whole shine.
I don't think
okay, I don't think she's on call. All right. Thank you very much, dear leaders. I am deeply honored. I yield control back to you, moderator.
Sorry, can I say something, if you don't mind?
Please, sir. By all means, go ahead.
This issue you raised just reminded me of how Adam Smith defined the human nature. He said, every human being is selfish. So it's in the pursuit of your selfishness that the public benefits from. I want to hammer, and I choose to open a laundry home. It's not about my clothes. It's about people, providing service for them, and I make money in the process. So let your selfishness be one that is people-oriented. You'll get where you're going to. It's as simple as that. I don't know if I'm well understood, but we're all selfish. Stella is a banker to pick our money. In the process of picking our money, she gets her COT and she makes her money. So the more people that come to that bank, she's making her money. She's selfish. So develop your selfishness in the way that it will be of public interest. But when it's all self-centered about you, you remain on one spot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That's value clarity. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that feedback. It says, let your selfishness be one that is people oriented, because that's what gets you moving. It's been a delight hosting today's segment. And just before I hand over to the convener of the meeting, I would just like to highlight some really key things that I thought were very powerful in today's meeting. Mary had told us very clearly that speed without reflection is going to exhaust you and burn you out. So let's move with more intentionality and outcomes. If you don't remember anything today, remember the acronym PATH. And it says purpose, alignment, time, and habits. Clarity keeps you moving, and that's bettered by being intentional. Our panelists today have told us to stay focused. Focus on the little things that give the biggest outcomes. You might have to sacrifice some things, like Tika saying she cried, right? But then focus on those things. Prioritization is key. Have a skill, preference for what should come before work. Connect with the right people. Decide what company you need to keep and which one needs to go. Keep your goals SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Celebrate your milestones no matter how small. And if you didn't meet your target for the year, the Stella says, pat yourself on the back and say, we go again. Finally, remember, nothing happens because we wish it happened. That came from Soji. And I'll add this one: nothing changes if nothing changes. So with your movement into 2026, we all need to do something different in order to see a different outcome. And taking the feedback we received today and the learnings we picked up from today's session, I would say there's a lot to help us realign our needles from our compasses. And with that said, thank you so much. It's a privilege hosting you. I would like to welcome back to the lecture our convener, the African guru, 𝗷𝗢𝗿𝗂𝗍𝗂. You have the lecture. And please, a round of applause for him as he comes.
All right, thank you very much, our dear Olem. You know, I'm telling you this, and now I'm bringing it live. We need to start a podcast. I promise you, it will blow up, like really big. Thank you very much. Let me start with the last thing I saw on the chat box. Align your personal interest with public interest, and there will be no limits to the value you can create. Thank you very much for Abby for that value. I want to sincerely appreciate each and every one of us on call, starting with our keynote speaker for sharing such value. I wasn't really sure the angle you were going to come from this evening on the theme of discussion, but you did justice to that. Purpose, alignment, time, and habit. If you can work with this, I see you achieving great goals. And this is me talking to myself in 2026. Thank you so much for that. Our panel discussion was really, really apt. It seemed like it was meant for me. We had collaboration. It kept recalling collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. Focus on the compass and not on time. With that, you know that direction is better than speed. Don't move in a specific, there's no direction, you're just going fast. You might be heading nowhere. So alignment, focus on the direction. 2026 is fast approaching. It's almost here, right? And this is me talking to myself and everyone on call. 2026 is almost here. It's possible that you achieved a lot in this year. It's possible that you achieved so little this year. But if you look back in retrospect, you have wins recorded. You definitely have wins. No matter how small, minute it might look, but you have wins. Count them as a blessing and plan for more. There's a saying that being grateful makes you appreciative of all that you've had, all that you currently have, right? And the hunger to want more keeps you going out of the comfort zone. So you're not just relaxed. You're still striving while you're grateful. Be hungry. Be hungry enough, be bold enough to want to bring audacious dreams into reality. Madam Stella said something. You might want to be richer than Dangote, and it's possible, right? It's always a dream until you achieve it. So if that's your dream, if that's your goal, be hungry enough to want to bring it to reality. Let's go into 2026. Value focused. If you align your personal interest with public interest, the goal becomes undeniable. It's value all the way. And with this, I appreciate each and every one of us for staying on call to this very time. It's been a really fruitful conversation. I've gotten a lot to work with, and I hope you surely got what to work with to make 2026 a really impactful one. Let's keep doing more. And thank you very much. Please, at this juncture, I would like to, if you've not said anything, please unmute, say something. Let's see your face, let's hear your voice. Don't just go home without doing that. This is 9:31. Thank you from Anita. Anita, it would be nice to hear your voice if that's possible. Our keynote, thank you very much. Damu, I see you, but I've not heard your voice. I don't even know if you're on call.
Thank you, the African.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Now you can hear my voice.
Yes,
My
thank you. I hope
honored,
All right, thank you, Kareem. Thank you. I see you. Hassan Labo, thank you very much. Andas, thank you. Mary, thank you. iPhone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bonsoir. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank
you
you,
so
everyone,
much.
and have a good night. Thank you, Olem.
Olem, good to see you. How is Port Harcourt?
It's cold. It's cold and still raining. That's the help that I can see. I'm sounding very nasal because it's cold. My God.
Oh, so sorry. How are you doing? Good to see you.
It rains, though. It's still raining. We had rainfall today. We had rainfall yesterday. We had rainfall the day before. It's still raining down here.
Seriously?
I might decide to move to the south.
Please come with a raincoat and umbrella, maybe a canoe. You're going to need it. You're going to need it.
Wow. And here we have entered into full Harmattan.